As Swati was calling her mother from her new mobile, she heard a panicked voice from the other side. Hello, who is it? Mother, I am Swati. Since 4 days I have been calling you since morning, but there was no answer. Why do you make me tense so much? Mother, my phone was stolen. I have bought new phone and have called you, she said, giving her number. Mother, you are just making a fuss. I am so happy when I am here at the ashram. The arrangements here are also good. I have no fuss. She reassured mother, but her mind was wandering about Swami's devious behavior. But she never mentioned it to her. Nischay is a sad person. Earlier he used to tolerate your words. Now he is very angry and complains. He is crazy and sometimes does not do such mistakes. Nischay held my feet and apologized me for his mistake. He said so many times in front of me, when I was drunk I lost my sense. Enough, mother. We are not ready to hear any apology or explanation from him right now. Daughter, listen to me for a moment. He went to the ashram where you were to meet you. I know that you went to Girijapura to celebrate Swamiji's birthday. Yesterday he came to me and said that if you don't forgive him, he too would stay in the ashram. Look, Swati, none of us knows about this incident in your life. Not even your father knows about it. When I asked you why you went to the ashram, you only said that you have great respect for Swamiji and that you will stay in the ashram for a while and do service. Once Nischay came there and you were stubborn. Don't be hostile towards him. Even though you are a good friend, stay with him. I will see about that when the time comes. I don't feel like talking about it right now, Swati said and hung up. In the early days of that incident, Swati would get excited just by mentioning Nischay's name. But as time passed, a faint light of desire and love for him still shone in the corner of her mind. She sat alone for a while. By then, middle-aged Rekha auntie, who was in her room, returned after having lunch. Seeing Swati's happy face, she asked lovingly, "Why, Swati, are you not feeling well? Did you have lunch?" "No, I don't feel like having lunch. You take rest," she said and closed her eyes, but she could not get sleep. When Nischay was mentioned in the conversation with mother, Swati felt angry and got disgusted for a while. But now it was decreasing. The words she had said were still echoing in her mind. Nischay had apologized so many times on the phone. Even though she didn't want to, she was inevitably prepared to walk down that terrible path. Nischay was a distant relative of hers, the son of her aunt's cousin. He was a smart and intelligent young man. He was an engineer in a multinational company. They had first met at a wedding. Later, their attention to each other started to grow closer. As time passed, their desires began to dream of a rainbow. They both felt as if they were born for each other. They started meeting in parks and hotels. One day, when Nischay's parents had gone to another town, he invited Swati to his house in the evening. She happily accepted the invitation. But at that moment, she had never imagined that this solitude would create such a turbulent situation in their lives. Swati arrived at Nischay's house around 5 p.m. He smiled and motioned for her to come in. As they entered, he held her hand and led her towards the bedroom, saying, "We have been waiting for such a moment of solitude for so many years." What a bad idea he has in mind, she thought. You had told that there are two servants in your house. Where are they? Swati, how much do you remember them during such a sweet moment between us? He said, trying to hold Swati in his arms. She stood away from him and said, Mr. Nischay, don't call me such and such a girl. Don't you smell something from your mouth? You are doing a good job. Now you sit down comfortably. We will bring you some cool drinks, he said and went to the kitchen and filled 2 glasses with cool drinks. This is your first time coming to my place. I want to treat you a little, he said, giving her 1 glass and holding the other in his hand and starting to sip. Swati slowly started drinking the cool drinks. Both of them got lost in all the talking and emptied the cool drinks glasses. Nischay took both the glasses and went to the kitchen. Then Swati heard the sound of the door opening outside, but she didn't pay much attention to it. By the time Nischay came in, she felt her eyes watering. Nischay and Swati started talking so much nonsense. Then Nischay had tied her up in his arms and decided to play with her. About 1 hour later, both of them came to the normal state. Then Swati saw herself half naked and screamed in anger. She left Nischay without thinking and ran to the bathroom and fixed her clothes. She washed her face, combed her messy hair, walked out of the house in a hurry. Meanwhile, Nischay came out and held both her hands and started apologizing. I'm telling you, I didn't have such a bad idea. My friend had come a while ago when you came. I also put 2 pegs to keep him company. When I saw you, I felt lustful. I mixed whiskey with a glass of cool drinks. I am now regretting for my sinful act. I also ask your forgiveness for that. Please don't misunderstand me. Don't call it an accident and kill me. I have not even decided whether I will get married or not. Stop talking like that cowardly. I never dreamt that you would do that. It must be a tradition in your family and society to rape a girl before she gets married. You crazy person, why are you standing in my way? I will not let you down, Swati said. Wiping her tears and walking away quickly, she got into an auto that was parked on the side of the road. During the half-hour journey, she kept crying, wiping her tears and begging herself. Swati got down at the end of the road. By then darkness had already fallen. She slowly, carefully stepped into the house. Seeing that only mother was there, she breathed a sigh of relief. Dad had not yet returned home from the factory. Anna had gone on a tour for work in the company. She tried to avoid her mother's eyes by controlling her tears. As she was walking towards her room, her mother's experienced eyes looked at her face and said in a worried tone, Swati, are you okay? Where did you fall? What's wrong with you? What's this matter with you? You are right, mother. Such a big tragedy happened to me. A treacherous man has not only damaged my body, but also my personality, she said and started shedding tears. Then, sensing her father's arrival, she narrated the incident in detail. Swati's mother felt her breathing become heavy at the thought of what had happened to her daughter. For a few minutes, her body felt heavy. Then she controlled herself and placed her hand on her daughter's head, saying, Swati, what you are doing has crushed my heart. Stop crying now. Don't let your father hear the news of your sorrow. You don't know how angry he is. He will come soon. Go and rest in your room. Yes, mother, what you say is true, she said and went to her room to rest. I will tell your father that you have a fever, take a nap and sleep. You sleep. One more thing, you should not talk much in front of your father and keep your lips closed. This is the way of our family's respect. Okay, mother, she said and changed her mind. After this incident, she started feeling that not only her life but also the entire family was futile. After passing her MA with first class, her desire to do a PhD in political science had more or less died. About a week later, when her father went to the factory, she told her mother, Mother, I am tired of dying here crying and moaning. All I can think of now is the Swamiji of Siddhapura Mata. Mother, you didn't take me there last time. I only listened to his discourse once, but it had a great impact on my mind and also on me. My mind was also very peaceful at that time. Take me there next time, she said. Knowing her daughter's mood, mother took her to Siddhapura Mata the very next day. Swati started to come to her senses amidst the Swami and the devotees. After a week, mother returned to her village. Before returning to her village, she had left Swati with her childhood friend Rekha. Swati stayed in her room and started to forget her pain by doing the ashram's service. Nischay also came to the village at least once a week and apologized to Swati's mother for his mistake. He had also called Swati many times, but as soon as she saw his number, she would hang up the phone, and if the trouble was too much, She would even switch off. When he called from a different number, she had given him a good answer. She stayed in that ashram for about 3 months. Then she went to the ashram in faraway Girijapur. Within 15 days of her stay there, she felt like she had fallen into a frying pan. The sutra of that ashram was Swamiji, aged 40 to 42 years. He was a luxurious lover. He had been exploiting poor girls for the past many years. As soon as he saw Swati, he had already decided to be captivated by her beauty. One day Swami called Swati to his seat and looked at her with lustful eyes, saying, "The ashram was lacking a well-educated, beautiful and virtuous young woman like you. I think I have been waiting for you for years. Our senior Swamiji is quite old. Many diseases have befallen him. I don't know when he will leave this world. After him I will adorn this seat. If you accept my every word and move forward, you can live like a queen in both the ashrams." Swamiji, I have not yet taken any decision to stay here permanently. I will think about it and give you the answer, she said and left the room. Swati came to her room and started thinking. Anyone who wants the death of their guru is not only a lustful person, but also selfish, arrogant and an adulterer. So she decided at that moment to go to Siddhapura ashram there in her village. Just then her meditation was interrupted by the ringing tone of her mobile. She said, "Hello," she said in surprise and heard a voice from the other side. "Swati, tomorrow Nischay will come to the ashram in Girijapur. Don't scold him. Forgive him from your heart for his mistake and propose marriage to him." "Mother, don't worry about anything. It's been a long day since that incident. My behavior has also improved a lot now. I will walk with a little more caution now. I will call you when Nischay gets here," she said and hung up the phone. The news of Nischay's arrival was now feeling like a stick of grass to a drowning woman. Meanwhile, Rekha auntie heard a cough from somewhere and turned around. She gestured and called her. "Swati, whose phone is it?" "My mother," Swati murmured. "What did she say?" "Nothing special, auntie. That's all the news." "Look, Swati, don't hide anything from me. Your mother is my childhood friend. The day she brought you to Siddhapura Mata, she told me everything in brief. She also said that the boy you loved has cheated on you. Then that boy has also apologized for his mistake. He likes your love and will soon be ready to marry you. When I was at Siddhapura ashram, I told you that this Swamiji is not a good person. This is a lecherous Swami. He uses poor girls by showing them money. Some of his thugs and disciples have made people feel like they are the people's enemies. Your brother called me this morning. He said that Nischay, who was a good friend, is coming here. He has brought a stain on your relationship with him before the wedding. He likes you. He wants to take you away from here, so he is coming here. If his family does not agree to you going to your village, he will also stay here. Think about today and take a decision." This discourse of a saint is not a good thing for old people to listen to. They use strange words about heaven and hell to make their minds go crazy. I don't need to tell you anything more about this Swamiji. You know everything about it. Make a decision to welcome this good opportunity. If you reject it, your future life will be uncertain. What are you going to do? Come to a decision, she said. "Auntie, Nischay seemed like a bad boy to me at first. Now I don't have any such bad thoughts about him," she said. The next day at 5 p.m., as soon as Nischay reached the ashram, he met Rekha auntie. Swati was sitting in the temple at that time. As soon as she realized that Rekha auntie was calling, she returned to her room. Nischay smiled as soon as he saw Swati and greeted her. In return, Swati also bowed her head and greeted him. Then Rekha auntie laughed and said, "You should have two bodies and one life. Nischay, don't give up everything you have given to our daughter from now on. All the thorns that were on your path have now been removed. Walk in a good path and don't give up when you get the chance," she advised both of them. The next morning at 7 a.m., a taxi arrived in front of the ashram gate. Rekha auntie herself was also present there to bid Nischay and Swati farewell. There was some distance between Swati and Nischay, who were sitting on the back seat of the car. However, the dust that had accumulated in their minds had been cleared to a considerable extent. As Nischay placed his hand on Swati's shoulder, who was peering out of the window, she turned her head in surprise and said with a smile, "Take your hand off, you wicked boy. I am not your bride, you traitor, you shameless. Tell me the truth. Am I still a traitor to you?" Nischay asked, looking her in the eyes. "Yes," Swati said, pretending to let out a long sigh. "For a while you seemed like a traitor to me, but now you are not alone. I know that you have suffered a lot for it and have repented. Now I forgive you with all my heart. That's not all, I will give you permission to marry me," she said, leaning her head on his shoulder. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel.